Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is MG Govia. I'm an Education and Outreach Liaison for OKIE811, and you're listening to Digging Deep. That's an OKIE811 podcast. We're doing things a little bit different this month. This is going to be our August episode, and if you don't already celebrate it, mark your calendars for August 11th for next year, because August 11th is 811 Day. And to celebrate every 811 going forward, we always bring in leadership to kind of give all excavators, all of our listenership, an opportunity to know what we've been up to for the last year. You may remember last year we did individual interviews, but we decided this year we're going to do a group discussion, get all that information out to you at once. So sit back, enjoy this recap of OKIE811. To get started, what we're going to do is just let you get to know who our leadership is. So let's start with our executive director, Susan Bull. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Hey everyone, Susan Bull. I'm the Executive Director here at OKIE811 and celebrating accomplishments of 10 years this year. I'm excited to work here and hopefully be here another 10 years.
That's awesome.
So I'm excited to be here and ready to be doing this.
Cool. And let's go down the line and go to Gerald, our Director of Operations.
So I really hope you're here another 10 years as well. I'm Gerald Welch, Director of Operations for OKIE811. I've been here for about 7 years, so I've got to be a part of quite a bit of those first 10. Excited about where we're going, what we're doing, and all the technology that lies ahead. So really can't wait to keep moving forward with this team and looking to make underground damage prevention and safety a priority in Oklahoma.
Awesome. And we saved the best for last, aka my boss. This is Angie Niemeyer.
So I am Angie Niemeyer. I have been with OKIE811 for 18 years this past July. And I've been a part of the leadership team now for about 5 years. And started out in the contact center and just really have such a passion for what we do. And I love looking back and seeing where we've been and where we're at now, and then also, of course, looking forward to the future and continuing to see how we navigate this industry and continue to impact safety and underground damage prevention. A great couple to work with here, and just we really have a lot of fun, but we get a lot of things done too. So, great team.
That's something that our listeners probably picked up on in the last few podcasts when we're working with other 811 centers or the guests that we bring on. I'm really proud of OKIE811. We've done a lot of great things over the years, and this last year was no different. It was busy for us. We've made a lot of advancements and things of that nature, and so let's kind of expound on that. So, Susan, do you want to start with a big overall and then turn it over to somebody else to get into some details?
I'll touch on some major accomplishments that we've done since last year and into this year. Obviously, it's July now, so we've had 7 months worth of additional accomplishments. But I'm not going to go into any detail on these today. We can talk more in detail about the ones that the listeners about. But some of the ones that are big impacting are addressing our outbound ticket volume. Last year, we heard lots of complaints about late locators getting to the job sites late, excavators not being able to do their digging in a timely fashion. Fielded lots of complaints about that. We sat down and said, what can we do to help address this issue? So we did a lot of process improvement activities last 12 to 18 months to help address that late locate complaint. One of those is update extend or update remark tickets. So that gets locators to the sites that need to be located instead of going out and looking and saying, okay, this has already been marked, I don't need to be here, and that was a wasted trip. So the extend ticket allows the locator to say, I don't need to mark. Allows the excavator to say marks are good, locator doesn't need to go out. So Gerald will talk a little bit more about that if you're interested. We also had that contributed, along with some of the other activities with process improvements, contributed to a 6% reduction in outbound notices to locators. And so that's helped to make sure locators get to the place they need to be. We also achieved some major accomplishments organizationally. We actually completed our goal to a 6-month operating reserve. So we have enough money in the bank now to sustain ourselves for up to 6 months if we ever needed to dip into that for operating purposes. We've accomplished top workplace in the last 7 years. So that's a big accomplishment for us to always be named a top workplace. And shows that our employees are engaged, stakeholders are happy. We had some bylaw updates this year to our bylaws. That's going to extend our board capacity from 8 operating board members to up to 16. So we're looking at adding some additional seats to our board as well. Design survey tickets is a new thing that's coming about. Some legislation was passed in earlier this year in April and goes into effect November 1. So we're going to be having a design survey notice that operators now have to respond to design survey tickets. And that will give them additional time to respond to those, but it's another way to move us forward in our communication with operators and excavators, and planners, and so forth. So those are some of the things. Mandatory positive response has been implemented in the state of Oklahoma now, but this year we've done a lot of process improvement for that, extending our excavator education beyond just our team going out and doing education, getting other stakeholders to deliver that education. And then we had a great expo this year. Lots of great content, great participation, and of course we do our safety days. So Angie can speak more to some of that out.
Outstanding. Yeah, great. Pretty much, you just got an outline of everything we're going to deep dive into. Let's start with operations, right? So the director of operations probably can go into a little bit more detail. How did we make those changes to reduce those outbound tickets? What is the extend remark tickets process look like? Things of that nature.
Absolutely. So and bear with me. I realize that the reason MG set this up for us all to be together is because I'm so nerdy that I take up all the time with the details. So just bear with me as we kind of work our way through this. But last year, as Susan mentioned, we started the process of trying to ensure that only tickets going out were tickets that needed responded to, or the tickets that went out that didn't need responded to, clarified that. So we did a series of different enhancements within our portal to ask excavators information about their project to ensure that they're only calling in or requesting locations that they're actively excavating. This it helped us realize really a quick drop in unnecessary tickets. But beyond that, we decided we needed to change some other features. So we changed some fields like the extent field. We changed that to estimated completion date. That's a field now that we can look at and say, okay, we estimate that there's going to be this many active projects at this time based on these dates. Or see where supply constraints come in or weather constraints come in that have severely impacted the process of excavation in Oklahoma. So we're really excited about the insights that that's going to give us over time as we move forward. Now, we also developed some new ticket formats. We saw that excavators don't all need the same information every time they have a locate request, right? If you are a homeowner, you need different information on your locate request that we send you than somebody who's a professional excavator, because you might not understand the process in the same way. So we revamped that. We changed some things where an excavator, if they put in a second notice, they get different information on that email, and so on. So we also took that opportunity to revamp some of the ticket formats for facility operators. So facility operators now can get the information that they want and do away with the rest. Or maybe before they weren't getting enough information and they want more now. So we took this a step further. We tried to make more self-service available. So we revamped the demolition process. You're an excavator that does demolitions. You can now go online, facilitate all of those steps through our OKIE811 web portal. That's OKIE811.org. Go there anytime you want to submit a ticket. Then we've also taken that a step further, and now any excavator can actually do second notices if they need to through our web portal. We heard that that was a big problem previously, so we've set up the steps to make that possible. And some of our excavators often only work emergency, right? They're people who are fixing those water mains that are exploding all over the city and such. So we wanted to make sure that they can get through and get that process handled efficiently. So we actually offer a service where they can do that online through our web portal. All you got to do is go through a short training with us to ensure that you're putting in that locate request properly, to make sure that all facility operators get the right information. So that's a really exciting piece.
Yeah.
Self-service.
A little bit further information on that second notice. They're now also able to select which member to send it to.
Yep.
So that way we're not sending subsequent notices to members that had already responded. So that was another enhancement that removes some of that waste in the system.
That's a great point. We also, in that situation, if they've already provided positive response to the facility operator, it takes them for another question, asking exactly why they need that second notice, even though they've already responded. Because we do find where there's miscommunication throughout the system, or maybe a misunderstanding on the locate request itself. So that's a great point. The big project that everyone's really excited about, that Susan mentioned earlier, is the extend and remark change. So previously, we all knew updates and update extend. And this has been around, update extend has been around since about 2017. Although it was a process that only benefited one facility operator. So it didn't fully benefit all facility operators or excavators in that sense. We got some feedback from members on that project, and there was a lot of interest in changing it. So Susan actually heads a national group that we're a part of. What's that called, Susan?
Facility Notification Center Association.
Right.
OKIE811. Yep.
It's a really cool group, but what we found is there's a lot of different ways to call an update an update. And so we tried to transition a little bit based on the information in that group to be more similar to other states, so there's less confusion for excavators that work across state lines. So we did decide to change updates to remark, and then we revamped the extend process to where it goes to all facility operators whenever an excavator requests it, so that all of those facility operators have the choice whether to come back out and mark, even though the excavator said, you know what, the marks are good, I don't need you to come back out. This is a great opportunity to reduce truck rolls and get excavation, going on time and efficiently. We've seen a lot of good stuff come out of this, and I think it's probably a big contributor to some of the changes in outbound volume.
Definitely. And just a couple weeks ago, we released a podcast over the extend and remark process. So if you haven't checked that out, feel free to go to our YouTube channel or find that episode within wherever you listen to podcasts, and you'll be able to catch up on all the details of processing and what it looks like. And all that good stuff. It was a webinar that we posted as a podcast, so more information there for you as well. So now we get to kind of dive into the fun stuff, aka the education and outreach, and also probably some things with our member services team as well, and some things that got initiated over the last year. So Angie, do you want to kind of give us some highlights of
Sure. So going back to this mandatory positive response, as Susan mentioned, that has been part of our law since November of 2021. And over the past year, and even continuing, our member services team is really doing a lot of outreach and education on what that mandatory positive response is for our membership, what that looks like, and the importance of it. We have about 7 or 8%, I'm not sure exactly on the percentage of tickets that are auto-closed due to no response. And looking at those numbers, that definitely has a break in communication and the impact that the positive response can provide. So we are continuing to reach out to those members that are non-responsive and help them get equipped in what they need to be able to respond through our portal, making it a one-stop shop for the excavator to see what's going on with their locates before they actually go to the site and what have you. So we're continuing those efforts. And then, yeah, our excavator education is really taking off. As Susan also mentioned, we have expanded our education team without expanding hiring and so forth. And MG has done a fabulous job with partnerships and relationship building in our industry that he's actually created a relationship where other people are going out and training our content. And so we're able to make sure that the information that these partners are giving is accurate and the same thing that we're teaching. And so that really helps keep the message clear and consistent across anybody that might be teaching it. Our curriculum is very detailed and goes into a lot of different things that you wouldn't really think would be part of safe excavation, but it all ties together very nicely. And so that's been really good. And then through our safety days and expo, we have a lot of different topics. Sometimes we get a little bit into leadership development topics, or even just mindset. You know, having that growth mindset opposed to a fixed mindset can be very beneficial, not only in a professional life or in a safety setting, but also just in your daily lives. So a lot of cool things going on.
Yeah, we're recording this the day before our virtual safety day. So you'll have those recordings available for you. For those who cannot attend or have not attended one of our safety days that are regional, this year we were in Enid, we were in Lawton, we're going to be in Tulsa in August as well. If you haven't ever attended one of those, A, you're missing out. B, try to make it something that you want to be a part of next year. But our virtual safety day sessions will be available on YouTube. There's plenty of information to get out of that. We are doing a little bit of development in one of the sessions, and then we have some topics regarding private line locating, and then for our facility operators, some information to help you understand your membership responsibilities a lot further. So check that out as well. So you're not listening to us today, YouTube channel is there for you with all that content.
And you can go to our website, find out the dates of the safety days and the 2024 Expo, which is March 7th and 8th.
Yes.
So save the date on your calendar for next year, and go to our website to see when the safety days are.
Which is OKIE811.org.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. I appreciate the reminder. Sometimes I forget our own website. No, I'm just kidding. We are excited about what is coming up throughout from now till August of next year. We have some things that are taking off. Susan briefly mentioned that design tickets are going to be coming along through a law update. And so, Gerald, I'm going to ask you, since you're the one who kind of have your hands in all of the operations on getting that set up. How are things going, getting ready for that law change? And what did that law change look like?
Yeah, so things are going well. That will be effective November 1st, but we do hope to have that design survey request actually in production and usable before then. It will be required for operators to actually respond as of November 1st. That means if you're a design engineer and you want to know where lines are for a project, operators actually have 14 calendar days to respond to that request by either providing maps or putting marks on the ground. So it's similar to a locate request, but it gives more time, because oftentimes that engineering process, that's more pre-excavation, pre-project planning. And so this is kind of that meeting in the middle. To ensure that gets done safely, efficiently, hopefully saves a lot of dollars for everybody.
And then in the process of identifying the need for design survey ticket and the process that we need to implement as part of the law, we also identified some other needs. Through talking with our stakeholders and interested parties, there's other stuff that's needed. They need to collaborate in a meeting setting where they can plan out large projects. So it's going to be a large project, or a large road project, a large subdivision project. And so it'd be great if we had a meeting ticket where the design engineer can submit a meeting request, and all those players can be put together in a Teams meeting or even in in-person meeting. Then along the lines of that is a large project ticket that will provide timely notice of when things need to be marked, and not necessarily under the 3 business days under the current law. So it's going to help define, what does that look like for big projects, and how will that meeting ticket work, project ticket work. So that's something we're working on now with a lot of our stakeholders, is to try to see if there's some language we can agree to that would go into our law to those.
Yeah, I know that the common theme throughout all presentations or education outreach is communication. Everyone is the beginning of communication through those industry stakeholders. We got to be able to protect those excavators, and the way to do that is knowing where facilities are. Even if digging is going to take place today, but 3 or 4 months from now, just to be sure to understand the whole process through it all. And if we can initiate that communication through the design tickets, those meetup tickets, understand what a large project is going to be, it's going to improve damage prevention, excavator safety.
Frustration.
Yeah.
A lot of the issues with it being frustrating because we get locators out on time, or we have so many tickets and have to break them up by this many blocks and this many miles, and frustrating for the person having to do that work. Trying to see what can we do to make it less frustrating, still meet the objective of damage prevention.
Yeah, I love process improvement. That's what we're constantly trying to figure out how to make things better. So this is one of those things where we're being really collaborative. We're finding all the pieces and trying to get all the stakeholders in to make these process improvements happen. And it's super exciting. There's a lot of things that have to fall into place between now and when those things get implemented, such as law changes. But man, it's so cool.
The collaboration that has developed over the past several years has just been tremendous. Great to see the outreach with not only member companies, but excavators, locators, contractors. I mean, the list just goes on, and, getting that valuable input from each person, and how what may seem as such an insignificant change to us is a major impact to another one of our stakeholders that, can really be negative to the system. So understanding that and, leveraging that in what decisions we make has really been effective in building these relationships.
Being in those meetings, you really get to see the nuances come through on all of those different aspects of damage prevention.
It's also a great educational opportunity because I think everybody walks away with something new, in a better understanding of why things are the way they are, so that they can better adapt to this change.
Yeah, and there's plenty of opportunities for collaboration with us. If you're in the excavator industry, whether you're a facility operator, municipality, reach out to us. The easiest way to get involved is the super easy email, education@OKIE811.org, and that way we can help facilitate where to plug you in different opportunities to collaborate with us, whether it's just suggestion box ideas or something a little bit deeper. We'd love to collaborate with all the stakeholders to make this whole entire process better and better.
Another thing that's just that we really didn't talk about that needs some attention and some resources is improved facility mapping, especially from our municipal members or municipalities or rural water districts. If we can get some collaboration and some resources around improving their mapping, then improving their mapping, and then getting that mapping to us, we can really address a lot of over notifications that are taking place. The municipalities getting notified every time someone's digging in a quarter section, so therefore they're inundated with locators that they have are wearing multiple hats, and they get to all these, so they ignore them or screen them out. And we really need a way to improve that mapping to get the notices that need to go to those operators so that they can really manage their resources better. So there's going to be a big push in the next 12 to 18 months to work with those member companies and those operators to get improved facility mapping.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I had a conversation with the municipality just the other day, and I kind of presented with these two options. We can improve ticket relevancy. You're only getting the ones that you need to, or give more staff where you're responding to all the tickets. And the investment may seem large now to get that mapping improved, but you're not at the salary. So hopefully that helped them out. If it did, shoot me an email. But that's the kind of things that they're looking at. And those decisions are tough. I can't tell a municipality or a rural water system how to budget their money, but I can present options for them to help them with that ticket relevancy. And less tickets means less resources are going to be needed. So to me, hopefully that can help out with it.
And mapping seems like oh, that's hard, it's difficult. But there's so many tools and technology now that enable that improved mapping to happen more easily.
Mm-hmm.
We even have our service area editor tool on our website that helps facilitate easier input of that mapping. So I think if people will just put down the fear factor of it and say, we can do this, they'll see so much process improvement here.
Yeah, I think the overall, like, the initial thought is this is going to be really expensive. I think that it's probably not as expensive as people think starting out.
Yeah, I agree completely. And especially when you're looking at the ticket relevancy. If you're in a quarter section right now and you know through your water system that all your lines are going to be on the east side of the road, even if you draw that with 100, 200 foot buffer, you've already reduced your ticket relevancy. And you don't have to be exact. You're just worried about what you're responding to, not where the lines actually want to just be within that space. So for all you map nerds that are listening to us, or the ones who are scared to be a map nerd, know that it's easier than it may seem. Reach out to us. Our GIS team is there to help you. That service area editor is a great tool. And I can promise you that there will be YouTube videos that explain that service area editor as well. So you're getting inundated with all of our resources to make sure your membership is better. You want to talk about more fun stuff coming up? I mean, August is right around the corner. This podcast is going to be published on August 11th, which is 811 Day. And so, I don't know, is there anything special going on for 811 Day?
Well, I'm just going to kick this off because I know this is one of your passions. We look at our marketing dollars and say, we want to do what we can to get outreach and awareness out to all constituents in Oklahoma, even homeowners, do-it-yourselfers. We want everyone to know to call before you dig, to get those on-ground lines located, to help prevent damages, outages, and ensure safety of the people digging around those facilities. So we take out a little portion of our marketing dollars each year. We've done it for the last 2 years, and this will be our third year. And I'm going to tee it up for Angie to talk about how we invest that small amount of money and make a big difference.
So this will be our third year that we'll be launching a beer. So we had our Pilsner the first year. Last year we did a pineapple Mexican lager. And this year we are doing a honey brown ale. And so we've got, we're partnered with Cross Timbers Brewing. And we'll be hosting an event tonight at Cross Timbers launching that beer. So it's a lot of fun. It's a great campaign, as MG likes to call it. And we have get our label out there with the 5 steps of safe digging is always on the can. We do encourage everybody to drink responsibly, and but remember safety too. And so it's been a great tool. It's been a lot of fun. A lot of other 811 centers have asked for more information on the idea and so forth. So.
And this year, since it's a honey beer, we're going to target around the marketing be safe, BEE safe. So.
Yes, and I'm excited. Obviously, this is my passion project every year. But it's a great opportunity. It's available statewide, so whether you're in Tulsa or Guymon or Valiant or Alva or Altus, I think I named all the corners. You can get beer. Just go to your liquor store, ask for the Honey Brown Ale from Cross Timbers. They can have it delivered to you. It's a great opportunity for you to get some information from us and share with your friends the importance of safe digging in a unique way to do so.
And that the money that is made from the sale of the beer, even though we invest a small amount of money to make the beer, any money that from the sale of the beer and the input that we put into the beer, all of that money goes to a scholarship program for kids going to college. So we want to make sure that that money, we've done our marketing. That was what we went into that investment with, that we want to make sure that the money that is out of it goes to benefit.
Yeah, and it's been outstanding for the last 2 years. I think the first year, it was our first year, some learning curves, and we did over 2,000 for the scholarship fund. We're well over 5,000 now for the scholarship fund, so we're expecting the next go around to even be better for them. So looking forward to seeing how that goes. Again, look for any liquor stores, come by the brewery. Whatever the case may be, you'll be glad that you did.
We want to ask you to subscribe to our podcast so that you can be the first to hear each new episode. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to follow the channel for not only our podcast, but also educational videos on OKIE811 services. Follow us on social media to know of upcoming educational events, such as Safety Days or our Expo, or to know the next time we may be hiring. Thank you for listening to Digging Deep, an OKIE811 podcast. After you subscribe, be sure to share.
So we've talked a lot about what all has taken place over the last year. I just want to kind of wrap things up with kind of where we are, kind of some of our future ideas. And one thing that got brought up earlier is that Susan leads the FNCA, the Facility Notification Center Association. And one of the great benefits of that organization is just how we collaborate with other 811 centers. And so I was wondering if you or any of us would like to expound on how that collaboration with other 811 centers has helped us improve and what we look for this year.
I just start off by saying it's not the same as CGA, Ground Alliance, Infrastructure Resources, the Global Excavation Safety Conference. Those are great places to collaborate with other 811 centers and other industry stakeholders. The difference between what that is and Facility Notification Center Association is the FNCA is an association just for 811 centers, just for notification centers. It includes those in Canada, U.S. It's going to be a global association. So the focus is on us collaborating directly with one another on our operations, whether it's an HR process, finance, GIS, IT, contact center. It's not just the networking and the how do we prevent damages, how do we keep excavators safe, which is what CGA and Infrastructure Resources focus on. It's our actual operations within each of our centers. How can we share from one another, learn from one another? I talk about not just what's working, but what didn't work, so that we don't make the same mistakes we've already made. So it's still in its infancy. We're still growing the association and getting our feet going in the right direction, but you guys can add to it. You guys have all signed up to be on the committees and you're chairing some of the committees. So
I think for me, I love the organization because we all have the same end goal, but we realize that there are a bazillion different ways to skin the cat. I mean, there's just so many different methods to the madness, and ideas. Of course, state laws vary from one state to the next, and so there's some emphasis on trying to see how we can tackle that. Just understanding that for one term, we have 6 different terms that mean the same thing, and so kind of weeding out some of that jargon and helping differentiate what is and what isn't, and then coming up with best practices and best terminology that we can all understand. And when I ask the question in my form, it's understood across the board. So that's really been the thing I've really enjoyed about it.
Yeah, I love, a different side of best practices when it comes to operating our call centers, our contact centers, working with our IT groups and different tooling and things that we're using. beginning to talk through that on a level of with somebody that does exactly the same thing that we do, it really opens things up and gives us a big opportunity, as Susan said, to not make mistakes that others have made, and to fine-tune things in a way that has worked well for others. We also find that there's a lot of differences with state lines, depending on laws or environments. So it's interesting, and it's great to learn that, and also to tweak those things with that in mind.
And one great thing with education outreach is straight up stealing from other states. The laws may differ. We may have different sizes of our education outreach, whether you have 20 liaisons or just one. We're all trying to accomplish the same goal. And so when I see a state notification center do something like working with an animal shelter to promote 811, we get to show a cute dog, highlight that animal shelter, and have some 811 swag at the same time. People love seeing a dog, and now they get that message as well. The campaign of the beer is something like Angie mentioned that some other states have used as well. So that collaboration helps a lot, and something that I'm really grateful about that organization. And what the ultimate goal, like Angie said, is we always have the same focus, same end goal, and that's going to be damage prevention and excavator safety. And more often than not, it's the other way around. If I focus on excavator safety, the damage prevention will take care of it. Because if we make sure that that excavator understands where those underground mines are, the importance of having those marked, and tolerance zone, and all those things, then hopefully we're going to do all we can to avoid that unnecessary damage prevention. I understand accidents are going to happen, but we can do that. And that's one great thing that I'm proud of our leadership. That is something that we hammer home every time we start any campaign, any education outreach. How will this affect that asset? Angie, since you're my boss, do you want to elaborate on what that means to our organization with the damage prevention outreach that we're doing?
Damage prevention and the outreach is just paramount to what we do. I mean, the more people that know who we are, what we do, how to reach us, and understand the implications of not contacting us, the more successful that we are as a whole. And, safety doesn't just end with that education piece, but we promote a safe culture here at OKIE811. And it's just kind of something that we live and breathe every day.
Absolutely. That's something that, Susan, I'm really thankful for you that you've kind of refocused me at times, because I get so excited about all these things that we can do on a marketing kind
It
of
takes all three of us to focus you. There's all three of us to focus you.
All right, well, there, I'll take it. That is true, but something that I've seen throughout our leadership is that focus on making sure that we're reaching those audiences, because we don't know when a homeowner is going to call. We gave them that message today. They saw it on TV, but they may not need to dig for 2 years, right? A homeowner isn't someone who's regularly digging, but we have to get that message out. And so we have to be cognizant of that and showing that there's the impression and just remembering of who we are, but also when to use us. And so that's something that you've helped direct that marketing as well. So appreciate all the help in that. So I remember years ago, we would work the fair, and I'd be there and I'd be like, hey, we heard to make OKIE811, and they'll go, yeah, that's a good radio station. And now we've gotten to the point where we say, hey, have you heard of OKIE811? And they're always quick to say, yeah, that's where you get lines marked, or yeah, I have to call you before I dig, or they'll sing a jingle to us that I'm not going to sing. All those things. So we're getting more and more, but that was something that I remember us talking about is that fair promotion. And so we are at the fair every year, and we have just launched the ability for our damage prevention partners to help us out in working that booth. So there's 66 shifts available. When you can push pause and try to say it a couple times fast. 66 shifts, and we want your help. So if you are with one of our facility operators, if you're with a construction company, if you just understand the importance of damage prevention, shoot me an email. Again, education@okia11.org. We'll hope you get directed to a place where you can volunteer your time. We'll obviously take care of getting you to the fair, and you can enjoy the fair before and after your shift. So, and there's other opportunities for our damage prevention partners.
Well, there are definitely a lot of opportunities. In fact, being on podcast is a huge one that we have monthly opportunities. Just reach out to MG, and he loves to talk and get other people to talk and stuff. So that's a huge opportunity right there. And then again, if you have a lot of people that need that 811 certification training, just to make sure that that they understand the steps to safe digging and what they need to do to protect your company and your employees. Again, we have that opportunity available, whether virtually, just giving the information to how to do it individually, or if you want to set up some classroom training, there's that opportunity as well. We've talked about safety days. Those are an annual event that we usually have 3 or 4 a year. So yeah, we're always looking for volunteers. We have the expo in March, and we'll be gearing that up before we know it to start planning that one again. So yeah, just fill out our education opportunity on our website, and we'll get in touch with you and make that happen.
So, listeners, we appreciate you so much for helping us spread the message of safe excavation and damage prevention. Please like and follow this. I am going to give our executive director an opportunity to have some last words in just one moment. But listeners, if you don't already, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just type in at OKIE811 when you're in YouTube, and it'll pull up for you to follow. Follow us on your podcast. Make sure it's all shared so that we can grow our audience to make sure that Oklahoma's kept safe. So, Susan, our executive director, do you have any final words to wrap all this up with?
Final wrap up is click before you dig. That's go to OKIE811.org, click on the submit a ticket, and submit your locate request online. It's quick, it's easy, much faster than calling us and waiting on hold. And so my encouragement is to learn how to use your devices to go online and submit your locate request.
We got a new mobile experience coming soon.
Yes.
Outstanding. That wrap up is going to be its own little commercial soon. So, again, thank you so much, listeners. I hope you stay safe this week and always, and do all that you can to promote safe digging and excavator safety within the state of Oklahoma. Thank you again. Bye, everybody.